Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special day because today is the 1-year anniversary of my most popular Substack post called Being Perpetually Horny. I wrote this piece a year ago and I realized a couple months ago how this has just been on my Substack. I haven't really talked about it. I mean, I shared it when I wrote it, but not enough people know about it. And I think this is one of my favorite pieces I've ever written. I think this is the most authentic I've ever felt. And today, I just wanted to do a reading and just share it. So, let's get started. 2 weeks ago, my best friend Mel and I decided to go to lunch on a Friday. It was payday, and we wanted to treat ourselves. I was driving, and we were talking about men. I shared an explicit comment about a man I found attractive, and she laughed, saying, "You cracked me up." "What do you mean?" "I mean you being perpetually horny." I laughed because I knew exactly what she meant by that. I only have had one relationship in my 27 years of life, and it was hot and heavy from week 1. But when I broke up with my ex-fiance, the activity stopped cold turkey. I had 2 hookups 10 months later, and since then, I haven't been sexually active in almost a year, making that 2 years now. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean the feelings stopped. I feel my emotions very deeply, and that applies to my sensuality. Something that intensifies these feelings is my maladaptive daydreaming. When you can create the dream man in your head and imagine the fantasies you want, the horniness only gets hotter. Side note, I know maladaptive daydreaming is not a great habit, but that is another thought for another time. This sense of sexuality has been with me since I was 12 years old. My mom didn't give me the birds and bees talk. She gave it to me straight. She told me that if anyone said something inappropriate or touched my private parts, I should tell her immediately. Because of that, I didn't feel comfortable expressing myself sexually, but human sexuality interested me from a young age. At first, it was just curiosity. I looked up terms and definitions. I kept this information to myself, only bringing it up when talking to friends or boys at school. Weirdly enough, the first time I pleasured myself was in typing class. I was done with my work early. I stretched and closed my legs really tight. It felt good, tingling, goosebumps, and I wanted more. Around this time, I discovered porn. I found Pornhub, started watching it once a week, and then every day, but only when my parents were at home. Sometimes I get caught, but I was obsessed. I thought I was addicted, and in hindsight, I was just hyper-focused, and eventually the habit did calm down. During high school, I started daydreaming more than watching porn. Before bed, I would craft vivid stories in my head, dreams and fantasies I wanted to live out. This became my nightly ritual. These scenes gave me ideas about sensuality and intimacy. They made me crave personal connection through touch, and I hoped that I'd experience that someday. That's when being perpetually horny was born. The best way I can describe this is I was acting like Samantha from Sex and the City in private, but only with my friends, they got to see that side of me. I won't lie, the horniness comes off brash at times, but I don't care. I love the topic of sensuality and how people express it. I'm drawn to erotica, sensual modes of dance like burlesque or heels, and yes, porn. My mom's directness about sex helped me approach it with curiosity, but I still felt shame, discomfort, and judgment for being a sexual person, especially as a plus-size Black woman. In media, the big Black woman is often portrayed through dated stereotypes. The desperate lover, who is the obsessive woman who is always chasing after someone who doesn't want her, like Monique in The Parkers. The mammy, the nurturing, self-sacrificing caretaker, like in Hattie McDaniel in Gone with the Wind. Or the Jezebel, a woman whose love of sex is tied to male validation and exploitation, Pam Grier in Coffee. These stereotypes do nothing to move Black women's sexuality forward. From my experience, Black women often face self-rejection, even so if they're fat. Good-looking men only seem to approach us to get into our pants, make fun of us, or exploit us, not because they genuinely like us. But things are changing. Millennials/Gen Z Black women are setting new standards for how we want to be seen romantically and sexually. Shows like Insecure were groundbreaking during my college years. They captured the awkwardness, passion, and complexity of sex in your late 20s and 30s. They normalize exploring desires without shame and showing that sex can be messy, fun, and deeply personal. I've always had a strong intuition learning about sex. Before porn, I would research terms to make sure I wasn't confused with what I saw. I knew porn was exaggerated, but that didn't stop me from learning it. Here's where I get a little niche. The way that I consume porn is like watching through my own eyes. In my mind, the star of the scene becomes me, and I'm in a fantasy sex tape. But I often wonder how many men can't distinguish between porn and real sex. Another thought for another day. In the absence of men, I've reclaimed my sexuality. It's a sacred energy that I'm deeply in touch with, and I find it freeing. I never hidden the fact that I love sex scenes, vivid erotica, and explicit music. However, I still struggle with an outward expression through movement. Being in a constant state of losing weight and feeling less mobile than I like, I fear judgment. What if someone calls me a whale or mocks me? But here's the irony. I feel free when I dance, when I body roll, swing my arms, move fluidly. It's like second nature. Dance connects me to my creativity in ways that I haven't fully explored yet. I'm learning to embrace that energy and I'm excited about what comes next. I know when I'm alluring, sexy, attractive, hot, I don't need someone else to validate that for me. I understand my desires, and whether I'm expressing them through movement or media or fantasy, one thing remains true. I'm perpetually horny and I love every moment of it. I have written a follow-up called Beyond Perpetually Horny that's currently live on my Substack, and I highly encourage you to go take a read. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.